Hello, hello, hello. Right, okay, this has got to be third time lucky now. So, the last video was brilliant of me doing the quiche and everything, Sheila. But there's a gremlin and I had no sound. So I was talking happily away for 20 minutes and there was no sound. And when I played it back, I was like, oh my God, what just happened? And I was actually still connected to a Zoom meeting that I was having. So of course, chat, da-da-da-da, and my friend Ray, my new friend Ray, who I met at the Zoom meeting, she lives in New Zealand. And she'd obviously been faffing about on her phone and I was faffing about on my phone. And neither of us had ended Nikki's actual Zoom. She didn't end it because she knew we all wanted to chat. And normally she ends the meeting and we've gone. But of course I had no sound. So I'm very sorry, but we're back. Okay, and I'm going to try and finish today's cookery stuff because I know you want to see this. And just because Lizzie asked very nicely, she said, and I do actually have a cauliflower in the fridge, she said, oh, cauliflower cheese, my favourite. Well, I'm going to show you how to make a twist on your traditional cauliflower cheese. And I'm also going to use up the rest of the tomatoes to make a bruschetta for Teresa. So I have prepared some croutons. And I have, not wanting to waste bread because we use a lot of bread here, but there is also a lot of waste in inverted commas that goes dry and hard. So what I've done is I've rubbed all these slices of baguette, whatever sort of bread you have is fine. It's quite dry. You can see that it's old stale bread. Rubbed it with garlic. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit it on there so you can see it. This is a very, very good quality bottle of olive oil. It is about €20 a bottle. It's a litre, but it will last, and I only use it for salad dressings or things where I predominantly need the flavour of the olive oil and only the olive oil. So I'm just going to literally just put a little bit on there because I've got holes in my tray as well. This is great because it aerates the surface underneath, it heats up and it just allows the hot air to penetrate underneath the food. So I really love that. And I'm going to keep this out because I'm going to use that for my bruschetta. So let's just take some of our Botany Bay. This is from the lovely Jacqueline Thomas, one of my fantastic friends who came as a guest here last year. She lives in Columbia in Carolina, and she bought me she sent me in the post the most amazing apron, which I forgot to tell you all about the other day. The one that I said I look huge in, but I still love it, it's great. Today I'm sporting navy blue because I just wanted to feel slightly smaller. This is the sea salt she brought from Botany Bay. And when I finished my sel de Guérande, my French fleur de sel, I started to use this and it's fantastic. And she bought this, I think, in Charleston in Carolina, which is a beautiful place. So Jacqueline, thank you very much. And you can see in action, we are using your fleur de sel. Now the fleur de sel is the best part of the salt. So this is the first kind of crop from the top of the salt beds, if you like. And we call it fleur de sel, flower of salt, because it's little tiny crystals, and it's great for doing sweet or savoury dishes because it's just got that natural and fresh flavour of being unprocessed completely. So I'm going to pop these croutons into my... All these people keep coming, it's all very distracting. We're not used to people anymore. In my bowl, I have one small onion, which has been chopped up with some garlic, and that's all chopped and ready in there. Bonjour! Non, c'est pas possible! Attends, je suis live on Facebook. Jean-Yves, il est juste dehors.
Ouais.
Pas social distancing. Pas de bisous, mais bisous quand même.
Voilà,
ouais! Bravo! Qu'est-ce que c'est chouette! Okay, so the guy that just walked in is one of our best friends, Eve. We haven't seen him since last year because obviously of the lockdown. Sorry about that. That's what you get living in France, walk in your house. And we were observing social distances. Normally we give each other a big kiss. Anyway, Eve was the one who did all our, put our staircase in La Petite Jucherie and did all our windows. and he's a really good friend of ours. He's helped on loads of projects here because he just likes coming, and he's retired now. So lovely Eve, he's gone off and they'll be getting the pastis out shortly. We're back to our bruschetta, onion, garlic, and in here I'm going to put my chopped tomatoes, and then in there I'm just literally going to put in a minute some fresh basil shortly. I'll go and get some out of the garden, and some of this lovely, really good quality virgin olive oil. It's absolutely superb. Whatever you like, Greek, Spanish, Italian, whatever you've got, but whatever you do choose, make sure you've got the most flavour in there that you can. This one is an AOP from Provence, from Aix-in-Provence, and it's a 2018 press. It's very similar to wine, and so they treat this. This is a gold medal winning one, and it's extra virgin olive. It comes from the Famille Chélan, the Chateau Viron. So it's very, very similar to a very fine wine. So I keep that one just for salad dressings, and this is going to go on the bruschetta. And I'm going to put some fresh basil in there. You can put whatever you want. You can put parsley, you can put anything in there. And there we go. So we'll put that to one side, and we'll get out our croutons. And, okay, he's not there. And they're about ready. I'm going to have to just... Oh, I've got everybody watching now. Attends, wait folks. Yves, je pense qu'il est à côté chez Dominique avec en train de faire un bricolage.
Ah ouais?
Appelle-le.
Ouais, il le sait que je suis là.
Il le sait?
Oui, il le sait.
D'accord.
Je l'ai eu au téléphone.
2 minutes,
Ouais,
ok?
Ouais,
Après, j'emmène le pastis. Okay, so he's just going to wait. And the next thing is we're going to rip on with the cauliflower cheese. I've got about 50 grams of butter in here, and I'm just going to heat that butter up, and we're going to make a roux-based sauce. We've done that before. We're going to make a roux-based sauce. I'm going to get interrupted. I can just feel it in my water. So my butter has already melted in there. You can see that. And I'm just going to put in a healthy heaped spoon of flour and make my roux. Okay, and we want to, as I said the other day, want to make sure we really cook out that roux. I'm just going to put a fraction more because I need quite a bit of sauce, because I'm going to use it for my cauliflower, but I'm also going to use the sauce, the plain sauce, for my lasagna later on, which I haven't got time to do all of that, but oh, it's so exciting, isn't it? Maybe I'll do the lasagna tomorrow. Oh God, you'll be sick of the sight of me. So I'm just cooking out my roux at the moment, and normally when you're going to make a cheese sauce, what you want to do is you want to just have cheese sauce or roux-based sauce. You want to have a nice smooth roux. It's not difficult. I've now cooked that till it's a bit like the consistency of wet sand, and I'm going to keep that going in the pan. I think the boys are going to burst in a minute if I have to go. Oh no. Honestly, if I was Delia or Nigella, she wouldn't have these problems, would she? So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to make up this first lot of cheese sauce. I'm going to actually lift a little bit of my roux out because I shall make a separate white sauce later. The reason being that this is going to be a fondue cheese sauce. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the principle of the original roux-based sauce with the butter, the flour, the milk, the seasoning, whatever you want, and the cheese, and I'm going to flip that on its head and bung in some dry sparkling wine. It doesn't have to be, it can be just a normal white wine. In fact, that's all I've got at the moment, aren't I? Very gauche. And I'm just going to, you can see that's just slackening up the roux there. And I'm going to put the milk into that as soon as I get that blended in. And I'm going to bung in a nice healthy dollop of Dijon mustard. So So my roux has now got the white wine, which is evaporated and cooked out, and I'm just going to pop in about ½ litre of milk, and I'm just going to make that sauce.
Ouais, ça va, je me suis dit, tiens, je vais aller voir les confinés.
So I'm just literally heating this up, and then I'll be able to beat this down into a smooth sauce. And then it's grated cheese. Keep melting that, keep stirring that, keep moving that around, and then you end up with a lovely kind of fondue based sauce. You've got the wine in there, or you can put a dash of kirsch if you like, but in our fondue that we made, we always made it with wine, white wine. And so literally it's just the principle of making a normal white sauce, adding in that white wine, or I'll say I've just got some dry local Vouvray sparkling. So I'm just going to pop that in there. And here we go with our crudité, with our croutons, which are all nice and golden brown. Garlic croutons. I'm not going to make the mistake of putting that on there. Stick those up there. And very soon we will have our cheesy sauce. Now you've got loads of lumps in it. Don't stress. Do not panic. Do not stress. Do not stress. So I've just shut the door so we can just have 5 minutes just to finish this off, because I did promise Lizzie and for my sister Meg, obviously, cauliflower cheese. If you don't have any weighing scales, don't panic, okay? 50 grams is about, it's 1/5 of a packet of butter, okay? If not, it's just a good dollop, about 2 tablespoons of butter. But the best thing is to just get a new pack and cut off 1/5 of it. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? 50 grams, no. 1/5 of the veg, okay? Any butter, salted butter, whatever you want, unsalted, if whatever you've got. You can always add seasoning to it afterwards. We're going to add seasoning shortly. All we've got in here now is the white wine, the mustard, and the butter and the milk. So we're just getting that whizzed up. Sometimes if I've got a bit of cream left, I'll just throw that in at the end as well. It's just whatever we've got in the fridge at the moment, as I say, you know. I'm just going to take out that wooden spoon, and I'm going to whiz up with my small whisk, not a big whisk, just to make it go a little bit quicker and to break down those chunks of roux that are in there. So anyone liking that idea of the fondue based cheese sauce? All the elements of a good fondue, obviously with the milk in there, which isn't in there, but the good cheese, the seasoning, we always put a bit of butter in our fondue too, and there we go, that's all coming together. And what I'm going to do now is, you've got a lumpless lovely sauce there, very simple. Don't stress about making lumps in a sauce. Just flip that down a little bit, and we're going to get some fresh nutmeg. Don't worry again if you haven't, I just happen to have it. But if you haven't got any, just use normal fresh, normal dried grated nutmeg. And I'm just going to put in a nice healthy grating of fresh nutmeg, probably about 1/4 of one. And you can smell that lovely flavour. I use an awful lot of nutmeg now. It's something that's really, really useful. Just going to put some cheese in there, and we're done. You can all make that, you can all do it. Meg, if you're watching, when you're watching, I've just got mixed grated cheese. There's Emmental, Dutch cheese, mozzarella, because it's what I've got in my fridge. But you can use proper fondue cheeses, you know, Beauforts and Comtés, or you can just use a bag of mixed grated cheese. And then on top of that, I'm going to throw in a little bit of, is the packet open? Because it's going to be time for aperitif, I can hear it. So, no, it's not open. Let me just get the scissors or a knife, open that. isn't it great after all this confinement to have friends come and not feel, you know, like you have to stay indoors and not see anybody? It's going to be amazing catching up with our friend. So there we go. When we eventually get the bag open, God, it's not rocket science, is it? Come on, JJ. And another healthy load of, you've got a couple of 100 grams of grated cheese in there, just working from the eye. And so there we have, again, it's whatever you've got, just adapt it. You can use the finest cheeses, you can use the best this, just use whatever you've got and make it work for you. So our sauce is ready. I'm going to get my cauliflower. No, it's on the side there. It's just on the side. I'll get it. I'll pass it to you. I just used a tiny bit. I certainly haven't used it all. Just a wee bit. Thank you. I'm coming for one shortly. Well, so there we go. I've cooked my cauliflower, and I've cooked it so it's firm but not raw, and soft enough but not soggy, if you know what I mean, because we're actually going to cook this again. And I've turned all of the heads facing up so that they get a nice coating of the cheese. And I'm just going to put in a dash of my aromat, and then I'm going to give that a taste, because I do this so often that I kind of already know what it tastes like. Isn't that awful? You should be tasting it. That's really lovely. So, nice cheesy flavour, and I'm just going to pour that gently. You can use a ladle, whatever you want. I'm just going to pour that gently over the top of the cauliflower. Now, if you want to do something a little bit different, you can add some toasted breadcrumbs, or even some of those croutons that we've just made. You've got a spare one, just crumble it up, put that on the top, and we've got plenty of cheese left to use that up for something else. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of cheese on the top. Even if you've got a bit of parmesan left over, mix it with some breadcrumbs, and unless you're gluten-free obviously, but that's a nice way of getting a crunchy topping. And if you want to make it a bigger meal without putting any meat with it, you can put some not hard-boiled eggs, but with a nice soft runny yellow, and chop them up into a dice and pop those on the top before you bake it in the oven. And that, my friends, is the cauliflower cheese ready to go in the oven for dinner. And I'm just going to taste this too. Delicious. I'm going to put some basil in there, and then all that's left to do is pop it straight on the top of your bruschetta. Fresh basil, fabulous. Serve that with drinks or serve it as a starter, whichever way. You can put a ham on the top, you can do all sorts of things. So thank you so much for joining me today. I have to go because it's so exciting. I've got a visitor, I've never had one of those for months. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'm really sorry about the sound issues and what a balls up that was. But it's been fun today. And Lizzie, when you put that in your oven, you've got beautiful cheese fondue cauliflower cheese. A little bit different. Change it up. Enjoy everyone. See you tonight for Alice's memoirs.